Welcome to Building the Future. I'm your host, Kevin Horick. The radio and TV version of the show air in over 12 states. This includes both coasts and Silicon Valley. The show also airs in the UK, Caribbean, and Australia. For full show times, plus past episodes of the TV and radio show, please visit buildingthefutureshow.com. We just launched a free online community to connect past guests, listeners, and others. This community will allow you to network, chat on Slack, or get help with anything else, and a lot more. If you're interested in joining the community, buying some merch, sponsoring the show, or signing up for the newsletter, please go to buildingthefutureshow.com. I want to invite all of you in the Building the Future community to join me at SUPEX, the Startup Expo in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, this July 26th, where I'll be the MC. SUPEX is one of the largest and best startup conferences in the US and the official gathering of the Building the Future community this summer. SUPEX has cutting-edge content, a cool startup competition, and a half-day forum this year called #WomenForWomen, the largest gathering in the US in 2018 of angel groups, seed funds, and VC funds focused on female founders and female entrepreneurs. For more information, visit www.sup-x.org. I hope to see all my Building the Future friends there. Welcome back to the show. Today we have Dr. Pantas Sutardja. He's the founder, president, and CEO of Latticework. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on the show. I think what you guys are doing is actually really innovative and cool, and you've had a really cool kind of career up until what you're working on kind of now. But maybe before we get into all that fun stuff, let's get to know you a little bit better and start off with where you grew up.
Sure. I was actually born in Indonesia.
Okay.
And I went to Singapore at age 7 to study there. And I stayed there for 11 years, going through the whole high school, and then came to the U.S. For college.
Okay. What did you take in college, and why did you decide to come to the U.S. and go to college?
Maybe we just roll back a little bit.
Sure.
When I was younger. So about when I was approximately grade 6, in Singapore we have the A-level system, O-level system, the British school system, right? So the equivalent of grade 6, I was influenced by my elder brother who started, toying with electronics back in Indonesia. We were separated.
Okay.
In Singapore, he lived in Indonesia. And I thought that would be, fun to also do the same thing. I did the same thing and started, picking up electronics magazines to learn electronics as a hobbyist.
Okay, interesting.
So that's how it all got started. But I over the years, I look at myself not quite like an electronics guy because of some changes, some things that happened. When I was like secondary 2, like grade 8, I actually failed my math class.
Wow.
So. Yeah, and that was a little bit of a hit to me. I kind of brushed it off, but as I was trying to learn more about electronics, right, I wasn't just happy to just be a hobbyist, a hacker. I tried to understand the principles of semiconductors and things like that. Pick up some books and just completely don't understand anything in those. So, and I quickly figured out that, those are physics, right? And tried to learn physics, and then I quickly realized that, no way I can pick up physics unless I have strong enough math background. And so that was really the kind of like the turning point for me.
Okay.
And did a lot more formal study by myself, not in the school.
Sure.
Trying to pick up statistical physics, whatever method is required to support learning those things, and in the end, I felt like a lot of things that happen later on in life, it's all about you like something, you learn something, you find that there are tons of other prerequisites that you actually have to do before you can be good at it.
Fair.
And
Yep.
it's all about doing whatever it takes, learning whatever it takes, knocking it down all the prerequisites that just to be where you want to be. So solving problems, whatever it takes. That's how I look at myself eventually turning into. I think that's the most important thing that I learned in life.
Oh, no, that's really good advice, man. I think that's great. So why did you decide to kind of go to UC Berkeley, and what did you kind of take there?
Well, I always wanted to go to the U.S. because U.S. is, at the time was obviously, even now is still very advanced in electronics,
Sure.
In science. And I did apply to several schools. Really, at the early stage, everybody rejected me, but Yale. And then Berkeley was the late, the one that came in late in terms of accepting me. I was almost going to go to Yale, but eventually my talked me out of it. Said that you must be kidding, right? You want to go to engineering school, you go to Berkeley. So anyway, I didn't know any better. I just followed a friend's advice. Went to Berkeley, and it was really a great school in engineering. Obviously, because of my interest in electronics, early days interest, I took electrical engineering and computer science. And really, electrical engineering, computer science is a huge discipline. There's so many different sub-disciplines. Took as many things as I could, and not just what I was interested. I took things. Some of the things that I had never learned, like signal processing and things like that, were actually more interesting to me. Something new. So that just widened my background as much as possible along the way. So yeah, again, it's always because of one thing leads to another. It's not like I have some particular interest to say that, hey, when I graduate, I want to do this or do that. That was not in my thought. I just say let's try to learn as many things as possible. What I don't know could be even more interesting.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. That's actually quite fascinating. So you end up getting, you're a doctor. You end up getting, obviously, you spent a bunch of time in school. You end up getting a job at IBM. What did you end up doing there?
Yes, so at IBM, again, I got into IBM. I didn't really utilize most of anything that I learned at Berkeley.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, because I joined IBM Almaden Research Center. It's the center that does most of the magnetic recordings
Okay,
for IBM.
Okay.
And it's totally new to me, and tried a few things. Wasn't good at everything, obviously, and finally settled down on just learn something about magnetic recording, how to record something at higher density and things like that. Long story short, my work required that I have some kind of tools to do to push the density of recording, right?
Okay.
And it went from software implementation eventually back to chip implementation. It's a huge, for me, it's a huge detour for me, like from the initial days of more like a circuit guy, wandering into process simulation, going into magnetic recording, and then say that, hey, if you want to do this, well, you got to have a real hardware. And that's how I kind of make the loop, turn back and say, let's do a chip. So I did the first CMOS re-channel chip at IBM using
Very cool.
using open. But very quickly I realized that while I was successful doing that, I quickly realized that that's not the place to do this kind of work because IBM's chip design activities are in other divisions.
Okay.
So I left IBM to do something else because my brother suggested that as this company that's looking for consultant, and I say, oh, okay, I can. Maybe this is my opportunity to jump back into the industry. So I did just that. That was 1994.
Okay, and that was Marvell Technology Group. Is that correct? What you found it with you started with your brother?
No, initially I was working for as a consultant.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, but we're always talking about what we can do in the future and things like that. And in the end, we say, let's do something.
Okay.
That's how we founded Marvell Technology Group.
Sure. So what did or does Marvell Technology Group kind of do?
Its most successful product line is storage.
Okay.
Obviously, Marvell has diversified into many other things. Datacom, communication, electronics, but I think its storage business is the biggest and the strongest one.
Okay. And what do you mean by storage business? Like, just for the people listening, like, what exactly did you guys do kind of in storage that was so popular?
Oh, if you look at what's in the basic mass storage device today is still hard disk drive, right?
Yeah.
NAND SSDs are becoming more and more popular, but the bulk of the storage that you have in data centers still disk drives. So at one point in time, disk drive was like a 500 million unit business.
Okay.
And we were lucky. I picked up the knowledge of disk drives and some of the electronics at IBM. The timing was perfect. Very few people knew about how to do a good CMOS mixed signal chip design at the time.
Okay.
So we said that we could actually do that. It was going to be tough, but we say timing is great because everybody say it cannot be done.
Interesting.
You want to get into something when the market is big. The rest of the guys say no can do.
Yeah, fair.
And you say, but we know how to do it. So that's how we got started, and we built the first chip. There were some difficulties initially in acquiring customers and things like that, but we went from like a total of 12, 14 other competitors in the space.
Wow.
Down to only one left.
Interesting.
Today. And Marvell, is the biggest now.
Wow. So did you guys raise? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for the disk drive electronics, Marvell is the biggest in the industry.
Wow. So did you guys raise money originally for all this, or how did you guys kind of actually get the capital to start building this?
We started by doing consulting.
Oh, okay, so you self-funded this thing.
Yes, we got some small amount of money from friends, and we supplement that with doing some IP, some small circuits for other companies like Adaptec at the time.
Interesting.
And just to get things going, right? But our real big break was because we approached another veteran of the industry. His name is Jado Banatao. He was like the S3 chairman.
Okay.
And he's been in it before, for many years. We approached him, and then we say we're going to do this thing. We show simulation result, and then at the end of it, he say, "Do you need my help?" Of course. Yeah, that was our first $1 million funding from anybody.
Wow.
And that's how we really get sufficient funding to expand.
Okay. And now, like, it's sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise we'll be doing a lot of consulting work and things like that just to stay afloat.
Got you. And then you basically, like, it's a big company now and it's publicly traded, right?
Mm-hmm.
So are you kind of still involved at all, or have you kind of stepped back from the company, or where do you kind of sit with them now?
Oh, I actually left the company 4 years ago.
Okay.
And the biggest reason, of course, you leave a company, it's like your baby. It's kind of difficult.
Yep.
But I like storage, but I don't see myself as a pure chip designer.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I like systems. I like architecture. I like design at a higher level. So, I wanted to get into the system side of the business in storage space. And if you're a chip company, that's really very difficult because you're in conflict with some of the biggest customers.
Okay.
Right? So you get no support internally because of that. Plus, honestly, if you try to do something new, we find it difficult to hire good people with the right mindset.
Sure.
I mean, you're a big company. You have to pay a lot to get people in. Much easier to do it as a startup. Anyway, so combination of many different things. I decided that I have to leave. If I want to do something different, it has to be a different company. Clean slate and the attraction of equity for newcomers and things like that. They'll be willing to work hard for their dreams. So I left at that was 2014, early 2014.
Okay. And is that when you started Latticework?
Yes, I started it, but it really took me another year to figure out what it really needs to be doing.
Okay.
The business model. What is the business model? It's not that easy to come up with something that I feel will have a long leg. If you look at the Marvell, we were very fortunate, right? We have a franchise, in storage that lasted so long.
Sure.
It was a very big market, and even this price go down a little bit, it's still a very big market. I was also still looking for something that could last for a very long time, solve some real problems, and last for a very long time.
Interesting.
It really took more than a year to figure that out.
Sure.
But once I figured it out, it's a go, and then we started hiring. We've been working on this for 3 years now, so we're just about ready to go out now.
So, and what you're talking about is Amber, correct?
The product is Amber, but in terms of trying to solve what problem we're trying to solve, right?
Sure.
I mean, we have to solve some real problem that people are immediately facing.
Sure.
To get traction, right? And the real issues that people are facing are, for most consumers, they keep complaining that their cell phone storage gets full all the time.
Yep.
They don't know where to back up. You have Google Photo that is free, but then it's downgraded resolution, and at some point you have to erase what's on your cell phone, and from then on you lose all your original, right?
Totally.
So it's kind of crazy. I mean, some people buy a new phone every 2 years.
Yep.
For the better hardware. Mostly around video and pictures, right?
Sure. Totally.
If you look at, yet you are still living in very old technology in terms of storage. In terms of what you keep for your life, it will be downgraded resolution.
Yep.
And I thought that's crazy,
yep.
right? Why want to do that. So I think just that alone will give us an immediate market, an entry point to get into the market.
Sure.
But the real story is bigger than that.
Okay.
The real story actually is what consumers are not aware of today. And I think if you look at what's going to happen next, if you believe that, there's so much talk about, 360-degree video, virtual reality, augmented reality, and all those things, right? If you believe that this will be the future of video, something bad is going to happen in the infrastructure.
Interesting.
So what is it? Right? I mean, if you go to YouTube and look at the availability of those 360-degree videos,
Mm-hmm.
you find some, and they're not really that high resolution because the data volume is too large to be 4K quality.
Sure.
So like 720 and below type of resolution. With a much bigger screen, right? It's a 360 degree.
Totally. Yep.
So if you notice there, you'll find that most of them require 120 megabits per second
Mm-hmm.
to stream. And that's a big problem. How many people have 120 megabits per second network? I mean, basically subscription for the networking service.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Most of the average people don't, right?
Correct. And in fact, if your service provider provide that in your neighborhood, if everybody, you don't need everybody to be streaming at that
Sure.
the data rate, the whole neighborhood will go down. It's always oversubscribed.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
If everybody uses it at that. So the future is the problem. The future where data volume and data rate is going demand is going to go up very quickly, yet the infrastructure is not catching up.
Interesting.
It's the biggest problem. And we feel that because of that gives us whatever problem if we solve it, then that problem that we're solving will last. The business will last for a very long time.
Sure.
Because we don't see any intercept point. We don't see infrastructure catching back up to demand caused by the technology that is coming in, right? Everybody is just trying to outdo each other in terms of the largest number of pixels, the
Sure.
highest resolution. The hardware is moving way faster than what people can afford to build in terms of infrastructure.
No, I 100% agree with you. But keep going. Sorry.
So that's why we're very excited about this thing. We find an application that the consumer will immediately feel like is solving a current problem.
Sure.
And we're solving it in a way that it's a hybrid cloud. What we build is not just MWeb. What we're building is a hybrid cloud.
Okay.
Where most of the data volume will move around at the edge. So you store your data locally.
Okay.
It gives you the privacy that a lot of people like to have.
Sure.
We keep your device attached to the cloud, so it is not an isolated island where you can have trouble sharing.
Right.
Or access. So we are a true cloud service. We're not selling an isolated one-off device to consumer. We provide the whole package, the whole platforms and service as a cloud service.
Okay. So how does it kind of, just for people that listening, like to describe it, like it's a box that you basically store all your kind of digital memories in at kind of the highest resolution that they were kind of at originally. Is that kind of a simple way to put it?
It's yes. That is the simplest way to put it. Because you have nothing is free. Obviously, you pay for once.
Sure. Yeah.
But you get to store it in the original resolution. Your in-home bandwidth is usually high enough to support that streaming. right?
Yeah.
And obviously, when you share to somebody else, it would not be possible to stream at the original resolution.
Right.
We support down sampling to lower resolutions, so it can stream to other people. And usually, it's not a problem because most people these days will be watching on the cell phone.
Sure. Yep.
And they decide that it's worth continue watching or not, and then they move on, right?
Yep.
Today, the problem with the existing cloud service is that either you don't have the original anymore.
Yep.
Or if you do have the original, here's the problem. People will have, it will be impossible when you share something to somebody else. They will be watching, they cannot stream the original, so they download it.
Yeah.
Guess what? I would argue that 90% of the things that you share to other people will watch the first 1 minute or 20, 30 seconds and decide that it's not worth watching.
Yeah, totally. You're right.
Yet you're already using up all the bandwidth.
Yeah.
Right? So, see, we have an infrastructure problem, but we are compounding the problem by not allowing people to do a quick sneak peek and then they have to download everything.
I got you. Interesting.
That's making the problem even worse.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm curious though. Okay, so I have this device in my home or office or whatever, and then when you say it syncs to a digital service, like is that your own service? Is that third-party services? A bit of both? How does that kind of work?
Okay, we run our own data center, our own implementation of a cloud service.
Okay.
So that's the central cloud.
Got you.
And all these devices, Ember, the device that we sell, will be attached to the cloud, our cloud, right? What does the cloud do for these Embers? They provide, user identity management, right?
Okay.
Your private device will not be the one that stores everybody in the world.
Got you.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, that has to be a public service. Sorry. There's no other way.
Sure. Yep. No, I agree with you. Yeah, it makes sense.
So it provides identity management for all the users, and it provides all the routing information. If I share something to you,
yeah,
right, I'm actually sharing to a cloud user. I'm not sharing to another Ember user.
I see.
Sharing to a cloud. Because only a cloud user is verified by someone, by us, right?
Yeah.
So I would never trust another Ember user and say that this person is this or that. So that's the way it works. We provide identity management and routing service and secondary firewall. If you think about how we do our access control, it's actually still done on our Ember device.
Okay.
That is the practical point.
Interesting.
Now, if I share something to somebody in the cloud get a copy of that information and will do the first line defense.
Okay, interesting.
If you're a user, you can't get. I will never route you to the Ember device.
Got you. So how do I get my content onto the actual device?
We provide an app.
Okay.
Actually, we provide an app on all the major platforms.
Sure.
We have Windows implementation.
Okay.
Mac OS implementation, iOS, and Android. So
Got you.
You have the app. You can from the app we'll transfer, we'll copy, we'll back up, your data onto Ember.
Got you. Okay. No, that's interesting.
And from there, you can also share. So the most important one it will be for consumer will be the app on mobile device.
Sure.
So we will be backing up your camera roll content.
Okay.
Onto Ember, and we will help you select files to delete if you run out of space.
Sure.
But we also speech back what was already removed from your cell phone with what's on Amber. As you're navigating, you're looking at all your past photos and videos on our app. You'll see what's local and what's already backed up. We stitch them together, so it looks like a seamless. The whole thing is there.
Got you.
You can access it anywhere. You can share it to other people. I think a simple concept like that. I'm just amazed that people don't do it. Just give us the opportunity to provide that first.
No, I think that's really interesting. So how big, or what's the storage inside the actual device? Like the amount?
That will depend on the actual SKU that you purchase.
Okay.
We go from a 1 terabyte RAID 1 to 4 terabyte RAID 1.
Okay.
We only sell configuration with RAID. If we say that to people, trust us, trust your data with us, there's no way that we're going to sell a device without redundancy.
No, that makes total sense. Yeah, I get that. It's almost expected, right?
Yeah, but because most consumers don't understand that, though. They
Sure.
take too much. They really take things for granted.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to change that mindset, right? Because when you're trying to save extra $60 or what, but when your drive crash and that is the only drive you have,
Yep.
a lot of people will be willing to spend $1,000
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
to somewhere to retrieve the data.
Sure.
And it is usually not on.
Just
Right? So, that's why we only sell a redundant device.
Yeah, sure.
Not something.
And
We don't try to make it cheap.
got you. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And for people that don't know, that basically you have drive basically that, like, you have a backup copy of your backup inside the device, right? Like, it's basically like a copy of it in case one of the drives goes down, then you can get your copy off the other one. Fair enough? Is that easy enough to say?
That is what it is. And of course, you should quickly replace the failed drive, so it reveals the redundancy.
Sure. So I can replace the drives myself, or do I have to buy a new device?
You can replace it yourself. We make it reasonably easy.
Okay. Sure. And then what's the cost going to be? Because I know you guys are kind of launching end of June. What's the cost going to be? I get it ranges depending on the model, but what's kind of the starting price?
That's the part that we're still trying to figure out yet, and we will definitely have that number by maybe third week of June.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, if I tell you whatever it is, it may change a little bit.
Right.
So I'm just hesitant. Yeah, it's definitely the lowest point. The lowest SKU is definitely less than 600.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, this is not storage. We actually it actually has an integrated router.
Okay.
Wi-Fi.
Oh wow. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's a 4x4 8600 router. In case somebody know what it means.
Sure. So no, that's interesting.
Go ahead.
No, that's interesting. Okay. So do I have to pay monthly as well, or how does that kind of work?
Our position is to sell something that you don't have to pay monthly. So your connectivity into the cloud and all those things are already included. Not only that, your friends and families will also get the same service. So those without subscription.
Okay. Interesting. So I'm curious then, you guys are just about to kind of launch this thing, and it's kind of coming in June. Is that correct?
June we'll be doing the pre-launch.
Okay.
The pre-sales, pre-order.
Okay. And then when are you roughly shipping this thing? Do you know?
Roughly it's going to be September, towards the end of October. Between September to October.
Okay. No,
So
that
we're not. As you know, we've been developing this for the last 3 years.
sure.
We're not. The pre-order is not to try to raise capital.
Okay,
Uh,
I got you.
We don't want to be doing something like that where a lot of companies, people pay for something and then, nothing happened for a year and a half, 2 years, even 3 years. We built this company, and I'm fortunate enough to have made enough money
Sure.
from Marvell that I knew that I can bring this to market,
I see.
without worrying about funding.
Sure. So you basically self-funded. You guys didn't raise any outside money?
It's mostly self-funded so far, but I'll be raising some capital once we, bring the product to market.
Got you.
And I want to expand the cloud offering side.
I got you. No, that makes a lot of sense. So how big's the team that's kind of working on this? Because you guys are doing obviously hardware, you're doing some software side. Like you got to have a bit of a team to build all this stuff.
Yeah, we're kind of joking internally, say that, we're like 3 different companies, 3 different startups. Right?
Sure.
In fact, there are other people that say that, you guys are crazy. To them, I think you do what you think can be done.
Sure.
Right? Everybody's life is different. So we have about 100 or so people.
Oh, wow.
Worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that it makes a lot like for building that many, you're right, like that many different verticals, you probably need that many people. No, that's
Actually,
wait, go ahead, sorry.
It's not. Actually, it's pretty stressful.
Yeah, I can imagine. For 3 years especially.
Well, we build it up, right? It's not 100.
Yeah, it was not day one you had 100. I get that. Yeah, no, fair enough. So I'm curious though. There's been kind of a bunch of stuff around, or well, I would say kind of recently, even the last few years, kind of around privacy of your kind of data. Whether I think it's kind of video or like there's Apple got hacked. Sony seems to get hacked a few times. There's been all this stuff with Facebook kind of lately. Why do you think kind of privacy and kind of actually having your stuff locally, it's almost like the perfect time for you guys to kind of launch this product? Because I think it's kind of very much on people's minds at this point. And I know one of my old bosses years ago, his wife lost her iPhone or wrecked it or something. I can't remember exactly, but she lost like baby photos of her kids for 9 months or whatever it was. Like they're just gone because they didn't really get backed up to the cloud properly. So I think you're kind of at the right time with this device where I think it's kind of top of mind for people. Do you kind of agree with that? And do you think it's kind of important that people are really kind of thinking more about their privacy, and it just happens to be that you have a solution to this now?
I think I completely agree with you. Honestly, we didn't plan for
Sure.
all this to happen. Who would know that all this will happen just around the time that we plan to launch?
Yeah.
So it couldn't be any better.
Sure. Yeah.
But from the start, you do know that consumers are kind of closing one eye, just pretend they don't know.
Sure.
There's always that underlying lingering concern that when you have no choice, you can ignore, right?
Sure.
What choice do they have? Before they can mostly available is the existing cloud guys, right? Google or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So it's very convenient. They say, okay, fine. It's hopefully there will be no data breach. Hopefully.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
But the fact is that when somebody gives you something for free, there's a catch.
Yeah.
They have to make money. We all understand that, and I don't think people really don't know that. They just have no choice.
Yeah, that's fair.
So they just pretend to kick it down the road, to deal with it later. So what we do is obviously to give people a choice. Now you can say, oh, what about the people, that the home NAS has been around for quite a while.
Yep.
We can do the same thing. I mean, our device Amber looks like a home NAS, but it's not.
Sure.
Right? Because home NAS are isolated island, right? So, yeah, it's difficult to set up, difficult to access from outside, impossible, nearly impossible to share. If you use the USB drives, again, it's like a cold storage.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of times, when you're in some gathering, you talk to people, they wanted to show you something. It's like, I got this thing I want to show you. And they swipe their phone, they look, and say, I'm sorry, it's been backed up. It's not here anymore.
Yeah.
That's the kind of things that happen, right? We say, look, consumer, when the cloud guys give them one choice only, they'll take it.
Sure. Yep. No, that makes sense.
But we can say that, look, I'll give you the best of both worlds, right? You don't have to worry about, the cloud guys looking into your stuff.
Sure.
Right? And you're fully connected into the cloud. You're not an island. So I think that's perfect, right? I mean, that is the optimum point. You cannot shift all the way to being a home NAS.
Right.
Right. You don't want to be fully kind of a big cloud where your data, has to be not only that. Okay, let me just backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
The cloud guys have a choice: charge you or not to charge you, right?
Yep.
I mean, so if they don't charge you, they must utilize your data for something.
Yeah, interesting.
So if they charge you, they can claim that we don't look at your stuff, right? But who knows? When data is aggregated in a big place, you're a big target for all the hackers.
Yep.
When data is spread around, hackers will say that, wow, even if I manage to break into one device, I cannot break into another one.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, my incentive is way lower. I mean, to break into, I'm not saying that our stuff is going to be perfect. We do whatever it takes to protect our device, right?
Yep.
But guess what? We don't know what we don't know. Open source libraries have holes and things like that. Hey, everybody has some level of risk, but who are the bigger targets? The bigger targets are the ones that aggregate too much data.
Sure.
And because I break into one, I soup up everybody's stuff. I mean, that's why I feel like this kind of distributed model really discouraged, or at least until everybody moves to distributed, most of the targets, most of the hackers are still going to hit the cloud guys instead of the individual devices.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. And it's interesting because I think people don't understand. And like, I know even just recently, people need more and more storage. It's just a reality nowadays. And actually, like, yes, a lot of the cloud services give you free whatever amount, but it is not hard to fill that up. And then you need to start paying, anywhere from 5 to 10 to higher than that a month. And you think about that over the lifetime or even over a year or two, you're going to be spending, $100+ or more a year, right? And then if you decide, well, I need to buy a external hard drive, there's another, depending on how big you get, like, it's not that hard to justify, getting something like what you guys are doing. Like, it almost pays for itself in a pretty short period of time. Plus you have the same kind of stuff that you'd get, like you have hardware, kind of the ability to have a cloud service, plus all this other stuff. So I think what you guys are doing is actually really kind of innovative. And I don't know if people kind of think about it like that, but a lot of people are starting to, kind of realize like, oh, what am I going to do with this stuff? So I think you guys are kind of at the right point to actually launch this thing. Plus, you have all this kind of media stuff happening in these big companies where I think it's been really great and quite fascinating.
Yes, I mean, we're really fortunate, right? So, the difference between us and the USB drives, the NAS, and things like that, we're providing a whole platform. Right?
Sure.
And we know. See, the cloud guys at the predicate companies, they know what consumers like.
Sure.
They just couldn't deliver certain things. Like what they couldn't do is privacy, right?
Yep.
And they cannot solve the bandwidth issue.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's
So I say privacy is the one thing that people are aware now.
Yep.
Right. So people are not aware is the bandwidth is coming. Bandwidth problem is coming. So not only that, it still costs you if you want to pay cloud services. Pay subscription costs you quite a bit.
Yep.
Right. The bigger problem is that even no matter how much you pay, you can't stream your high resolution video at will.
You're right.
I'm sorry, it's just not possible.
No, you're right. I've tried doing it, to be 100% honest with you. I've very much tried to do it, and you're right. It does not work great.
So I think slowly over time people will realize that even more. We're not counting on people realizing this at this point. We're counting on that to justify why we're doing this. It's for our own, understanding, right?
Sure.
We're going to we created something that will last a long time because the need simply will not go away.
If anything, I think it's only getting worse, right? Like I think
Correct.
more and more people are realizing. I think the turning point, at least for myself, and I would probably argue a lot of people, up until I had kids, I think I would take with my smartphone a dozen pictures a year, maybe. Now that I have kids, I think I take photos and videos all the time, right? And it takes.
And you want to keep it forever, right?
Totally.
Pass it on.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like the fact that their whole life can kind of be documented digitally is kind of fascinating to me, right? And you don't have to ever kind of share those publicly, or if you choose not to, but they can be 30 years old and they can watch kind of videos of everything that happened. And I'm not saying, in the 80s and 90s, I'm 35, just so you have some context. But, like my parents have kind of some videos of certain times in our life, and it's nice to, watch those sometimes. But with the smartphone, you can literally record daily of what they're up to, right? Or at least get photos or whatnot. And you can run out of space really quick.
Yeah, that's true. It's only so many 100 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just the highest resolution.
Sure. No, that's quite fascinating, actually. So I'm curious, though, you've kind of touched on this before, and you don't have to tell me kind of any specifics, but you guys are going to launch this product, and is there kind of plans to do other products, or how do you kind of see it evolving, or are you just going to focus on kind of this product for a while, and then who knows what's going to happen with the future?
No, we look at ourselves as a platform. If you look at this thing, is your own personal data center, right?
Okay, yeah.
So what we have in mind, if you look at it, right? I mean, now the cloud guys again show the path to what consumer wants. All this AI stuff is coming along, right?
Sure.
So people want the easiest way to access the data,
sure,
either by facial search, by voice recognition, or whatever, right?
Yep.
So all this, automation of your digital life is best handled by the server that owns the data.
Okay.
So we like to think of ourselves as your personal, your home media center, your personal assistant, not your public assistant,
Got you.
Right? I mean,
Yep.
you know what? People gave me through some conferences, whatever. I collected like 3 Echo Dots.
Sure. Okay.
I have not turned on one.
You what? Sorry, you missed that.
I have not even turned on any one of them.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I'm kind of like, why am I allowing Amazon to store to listen to what I'm doing and store all those things in the cloud, in their cloud?
Sure.
I just cannot wrap my mind around that. I say, this doesn't make sense, right?
Sure. Yeah.
With Amazon, I have a public assistant. I really want a personal assistant.
Interesting.
So if you think about it, that means this is your home control center. That means you have to tie in every other thing in the home, your home automation, your cameras, your audio system and things like that. Perfect for integration. It doesn't mean that we have to build those things. It means that we have to work with some partners, right?
Yep.
On integrating the best devices out there, and we have to, sometimes we may build our own, whatever it takes. Like the way I see it is like do whatever it takes that makes sense. We cannot do everything. We have to partner with other device manufacturers. There are certain things we can do better if we are taking control of the integration, right? We will do what makes sense.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. That's actually quite fascinating. I think it makes a lot of sense, right? Especially from kind of the angle you guys are coming at this from, and the approach of the whole thing, and from the privacy side of things. It's almost like going the opposite way of the current system, right? Where you're basically saying, I'm going to hide everything, and then I can share privately what I want to share. Obviously, if you choose, you could share those same photos or videos to like these social networks. But I'm talking from kind of your actual platform is I just share with kind of family or friends, and then, and then everything I kind of own, right, in the box. That makes a lot of sense. That's actually quite fascinating to me.
Yeah, I mean that's I think that will ring a bell with a lot of consumers.
Sure.
I think for US, people say the US people don't care about privacy. I think that's not true. It's just that you may have, quite a lot of people that didn't care before.
Sure.
Right? I mean, what is a lot? 30% of people, if they don't care, it's a lot of people.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. No
if you
fair.
go to other places in the world, you go to Europe, you go to Asia, man, the people that don't care will be super minorities, right?
Sure.
It will be 90-something%. Here, maybe only, at this point, maybe only 60-70% they care. But, the awareness are just coming.
Sure.
There will be, I think that there will be some slight shift. Even if there are, 10-20% don't care, I think the majority still care.
No, I think so. I think the big thing is when people started to kind of really think about this stuff is when kind of iCloud got hacked a couple of years ago, right? And people's photos and stuff were getting kind of leaked online, and you're like, wow, really? And then all the other stuff that's kind of happened since then. So I totally agree. I think if not 100% of the population's there, and maybe you'll never get there, there's a large percentage of the population in North America and globally that really do care. So I think, I'm quite fascinated about your product, but we're coming to the end of the show. So let's close with mentioning where people can get more information and actually, kind of sign up to actually pre-order this thing.
Oh, yes. They can go to a website, myamberlife.com.
Perfect. And that's www.myamberlife.com. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be on the show, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you, and have a good rest of your day.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, man. All right, we'll talk soon. Okay, bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for listening. To join the free community, buy some merch, sponsor the show, or sign up for the newsletter, please visit the website at buildingthefutureshow.com. The music for the show is done by Electric Mantra. You can check him out at electricmantra.com and keep building the future.